let's get the conversation kicking. Let's get it storming. Let's get it ready. Let's get it popping. Because you know what, it's gonna be a nice conversation today. Do you know what I'm saying? I want to start strong. I want to start with the Bree and the Vincent, because I think there was so much going on that we could discuss. And I think you guys will probably make some really good points. I haven't seen the chat, so I have no clue what you guys were saying. So I know you guys can come in with fire. So let's open up that conversation. Bree and Vincent, what was our sentiments and thoughts? Because I know you guys are probably going to crucify Vincent, especially the way he was getting all touchy about the children stuff. Let me go to my resident smoke artist in the bottom right corner. Layla, talk to them. What's your thoughts? Bree and Vincent, how are you feeling?
Oh, okay. So just the fluff out of the way. You know, I thought that Brie opening up about her struggles with colorism, that was really interesting to me because I actually worried about that when they were getting married. And this is not to make any generalizations or say anything about anyone personally, but in my life, my experience with numerous Dominicans has been that of like I was negatively affected by colorism, like in several different circumstances. So I was hoping, like, I hope Vinny's family and Vinny himself do not have an issue with the fact that she is darker skinned, and he seems to love her and think she's beautiful. So that's amazing. I was happy she could open up about that, and I hope that, you know, everyone keeps that same energy if the kids come out, you know, darker than a paper bag. But I also just thought, and I thought this last week, when they talked about the waking up in the morning, it seems to actually be something that they keep coming back to. Brie is a little bit, I think she was probably raised spoiled, because like the entitlement to think that you can dictate when somebody else wakes up because you want to have breakfast at a certain time. Like you're basically saying, like, this is my schedule, so you need to fit to it because my schedule is the best schedule and I know best. And that attitude, to me, it just says, like, people have let you get away with a lot of stuff in your life, like a lot of stuff, because a lesser man would have cussed her out. Like the second time she tried it. Like it's I am tired and you're telling me that I need to wake up because you want some company over breakfast. And when I tell you that we should compromise, you're telling me to go to bed earlier and stop being on my phone. Like, I don't understand her. So that mindset. And I think, like, even when they were after the dance little session and they were talking about, she's like, well, you know, when we have kids a long time from now, and she knows that that's an issue of contention. And the way she looked at him after she said it was almost like, I dare you to say something. Like, she was like, you know, a long time from now. And he said a long time from now. And she was like, yeah. And like, almost like stayed on his face. Like, I was just like, ooh. So she's one of those women who like she says she's not dated kind men, but I wonder, like, how often did you try them and challenge them in this way? Like, how often did you like really push them to the point where they had to be firm with you, or maybe they were avoiding being firm with you and then finally snapped on you a few times? Because some of that was, I don't want to say bullying, but some of the way that she approaches it is very like domineering in a way that I would find off-putting. And as a person who's, it's tough for me to be confrontational about minor things, but it's like a lot of little confrontations with her that she does it very sweetly, but I still see it, and it looks like Vinny still feels it. So I don't know. I don't know about that. I think that she should. I know she's not aware of it, so I hope that he finds his voice and is able to tell her firmly and stay firm, because it seems like sometimes he tells her and then just backs off.
I hear that. Good points. Lola, what are you saying? I mean, is Bree a little bit controlling? Is Bree just
you know what? We know she is. We were hoping and we're still thinking that maybe she'll be able to tame herself. So just to cotton on to what Layla says, this need to want to control how things move in their household, it's not going to fly. It's either she needs to adjust or they're going to hit a wall. Because it's one thing to say, okay, maybe on Wednesdays, you know, maybe we can get up. But to want him to get up because she's up, to want a grown man to sleep because she says sleep, is going to be a problem. And it's almost like she knows that. But first of all, just to jump in the middle, can I say, and I know we've said this before, can we call Dr. Pepper the MVP? Like, she just be calling BS where BS is. Like, she's just like, nah, nonsense. Like, and she made sense, because the first thing that Vinny said was him defending himself, the need to defend himself and say, well, I'm not lazy. And she's throwing it to her that, do you see how he's looking at it? And then she's also asking her, so how would you negotiate for this? She's not even trying to meet him middle way. She wants him to meet her where she is. And it's not going to work. I don't understand why she's doing that. So she does have that strong personality. But, you know, with this issue of colorism that came up, or her discussing it, I'm not surprised. We're living in America. That does come up. But that might explain some of the way she behaves. Because I find that some females feel the need, sometimes when they feel that pressure, to probably overcompensate, to exaggerate that confidence and come out a certain way. And that might be part of what she's doing, because it was how many episodes in a week? And she's finally kind of saying, well, this was an issue for me. And I particularly noticed when she first saw him at the part when they were walking up, there was almost a sense of relief before she saw his face. And I don't feel like I'm making it up. I almost suspected that might be the case. So that might be what's playing into it too. Now, Vince, we know he's extra sensitive, but I feel the more time they spend together, the more he will become in his man. He has some growing up to do. He definitely has to do that. He definitely feels insecure because we know he's not making enough money. But at this point, it's time for him to put his foot down. Dr. Pepper's showing him what to do. I mean, he shows some things, him showing her how the eating thing. You know what? This couple can make it, but it's going to take a little bit more work. And I'm happy that Dr. Pepper is now coming in. It seems like she's only in these last few episodes. I wish she'd kind of start from the beginning, because she seems to have the real conversation going. Yeah. Where she's actually calling, hey, do you see this? Hey, do you see that? But what were we, like 2 or 3 episodes before the finale? I don't know. But yeah, I'm not hating on Brie. I like that they brought up this conversation again of the pregnancy. And it shows, because last week I had said that maybe Vince didn't show any kind of, compassion for her because he didn't understand quite what she was getting at. But he did, because he said, people take medication for this. And still, once again, not to play this down or to say it lightly. Because I heard people last week, I hear you. But the truth is, elevated blood pressure in someone as young as her has never quite stopped someone from trying to get pregnant unless there was another problem. And the thing is, too, is she has not had to investigate that issue to find out, what do I need to do? Is this possible? It's just been an issue which she's continuing to reaffirm. She stopped talking about, how she looked, the fluids, the pain, but she's continuing to reaffirm that she actually had a fear. So she may have a fear, but she's never had to investigate, what do I need to do? What's going on? She's never even had to reiterate, what she's done about it. So at this point, Vinny's like, yeah, we can go talk with someone. I'm not mad at him. He's clear. He's very clear on what he wants. And I think at this point, I feel like Brianna does want children, but he's saying like 2 years. She's saying 3. She means 6, 7. Like, she's not ready to give up her independence, her time, her space, the figure, like a lot of things. So they're going to have to find a middle ground. I'd rather they do that sooner rather than later, because this is a breaking point for him. Like, if you're not going to do it, then maybe we don't need to be together. Because for him, part of him wanting to have children is to extend his legacy and fix what he feels he didn't have as a kid. And you'll find a lot of men who are driven like that. So her trying to negotiate that is not going to work. Like, they brought up adoption. It's one thing to say we tried and we couldn't get a child, but it's another thing for us to say, well, we're not going to try, let's just try adoption. So this is definitely going to be a bone of contention. This is probably going to be a point where he really stands up firm, because this is where he feels strongly. He didn't have a dad in his life, and he wants to be a dad for someone, and he wants to be a dad for his own seed. And that's understandable. I can't judge him for that. So yeah, Vince is showing, his backbone is coming up a little bit with the issues that matter to him. But this is going to be a big thing for them, and that's something I feel like Dr. Pepper should probably kind of sway them to. So, because it's going to be a big topic. Because if she doesn't come to an understanding, or they don't meet somewhere in the middle, that's enough to break them up. Because that's a big issue. Do I want to have children? No, I don't. Because he's serious about it. His thing is legacy. Where is my name going from here on out? So yeah, it's 50-50 at this point, the way I see it.
Okay. It's heavy. Adwell, what are you saying, man? What are you talking about? Talk to me, man.
Okay. So, when Brianna was talking at the studio, the one thing that she mentioned is that she had this passion for dancing, but instead of choosing dancing, her passion, she chose where the money is. That to me is who
Ooh.
Brianna is. That is Brianna. And it also ties into the fact that he doesn't allow him to sleep. There's so much judgment in that. I know she said that it wasn't because she thought he was lazy. Maybe it's not about him being lazy, but it's about how he gets what he wants to get. She may feel that the drive is not there as much as she would want it to be. Because if she's saying, number one, you go to sleep late and you're sitting on your phone, she may take that as someone who's just not focused and just easily distracted. And another thing that I want to say also is that we have to look at Vinny a little bit, because Vinny has complained about a lot of women just not supporting him. We don't know how long the last relationship was. I'm sure it wasn't just like a month or so. So it could have been that she was supporting him and just got to a point and was like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And that's where I feel Brianna's journey is going to be going to, because she has this fire in her. Like, I want this type of life. I have given up my passion to have this type of life. And damn it, you are going to support me in getting this type of life. So if you need to go to bed a little early, wake up so you can get on your grind, then that's what you need to do. And that's where it's coming from. It's just coming from a there's a lack of respect there. There's a lack of respect there for him as the head of household, because it's like, why do I have to be the one waking you up? You should know to get up and you should know to be a go-getter. Get up and get it done. But if you're still sleeping while I'm up and I'm going to sleep and you're still up, you're not the leader of the house. I'm the leader, because I'm the one telling you when to move. I'm the one telling you let's go biking. I'm the one telling you don't eat ice. Like, that's the position that she's planting herself to be. And they are a couple that can work because I think they are available to each other. But because you're so surface level, the availability is not deep. It hasn't deepened. And if they don't take this chance where there's still infatuation and still, oh, you're fine, I like you. If they don't take that opportunity to really get to know each other while there's still infatuation, they will miss the mark and they will be at each other's throat. Because as much as we see Brianna, I could see there's a fire in her. She's not that timid that Vinny can run her over. I think there will be fire in their house if they don't get therapy, so that they can actually have safe spaces to have the tough conversations, because there really isn't a safe space for them, even with the pregnancy. Like, the question that Dr. Pepper asked was, would you be open to adoption if her life is in danger?
No.
He just went straight to, I haven't even thought about, like, he hasn't even processed it. That it wasn't, would you be open to an adoption right now? Right. So they're still at the point where they're playing house, but they haven't really opened up to each other in a way where they can literally build a solid foundation to stand on. What they're standing on is I don't even know what to call it. Like, it's nothing. They're standing on attraction, infatuation, and the fact that they look good together. So hopefully, they could really connect with each other and get some therapy. Otherwise, it's going to be an explosion.
Hearing that. Thank you, Edge. Let me go to one of the guys now. David, what are you saying, man? Like, what's your thoughts around this, brilliant Vincent? I mean, if you're a man, I'm a man, if your wife now comes and says, David, you've been sleeping in too long, you know what I'm saying? How would you feel, bro? Talk to us, David. Resident David, are you there? Oh, you're going.
Hey.
Okay. Yes, David.
Sorry, brother. Interesting. I think I say interesting because I think the ladies are kind of giving me like a different groove, a different vibe. Because my mindset initially was, I was thinking, like, it's possible that Bree's just in these kind of romanticized phase where she's like, I want us to have breakfast in the morning together. Let's talk about our day, our plan for today. Like when you just start dating, it's like something you do. Like, you guys want to spend time together in the morning. If you're Christians, you want to pray together. If you're like, just so I feel like that's like the vibe that I was getting when I was watching it, because it's not like she's complaining like you should be up by now and hustle and like be on the road walking and stuff like that. She's like, like I want us to have breakfast together. I want us to spend time together in the morning, which, to me, I feel like it's like that initial phase when you start in a relationship and you want to like, do all that romantic stuff and all that kind of thing. So I don't really see it like, she's kind of trying to boss him around or control him, basically on that particular one. Maybe other things, I don't know. But then, like I say, it's a super panel. That's what they do. They just mess with your head and give you different perspectives sometimes. So they're making me see it in a different light. I don't know. It's interesting. But the thing I really love about both of them was the part where he kind of told her about his upbringing, his family, where he came from, where his life kind of began from, and how his family came over to the States and all those things. I think it really gave me a picture of who Vincent is. Because if you look at a lot of, and that's something they say about immigrants, if you look at immigrants, when they come over to places like these, they want to hustle, they want to make money, they want to push hard, they want to strive and be successful. And when they're doing that, they're not just doing that to like, go to holidays every weekend or whatever. They want to build a legacy. Some of them, they have family back home. I remember I listened to a message ago, I think it was Mensa Otabil, a Ghanaian pastor, and he was talking about like, that you need to understand why or what you see when you come into marriage. That some people see marriage as an opportunity for them to build a legacy, a dynasty. Some people come from a poor home and they feel like now I'm married, I have not just one stream of income, we have two streams of income. I can help my sibling better. I can help my family better. Another person has a different mindset. So you need to kind of understand where your mindset is. And I feel like Vincent is that kind of person who is like, you know what, now I'm married, two can chase 10,000. We can do so much more. We can, be that power couple. We can build a legacy together. I don't want to be spending all that money on holidays and whatever. Now, like I said last week, there's a fine line in between. You have to come to the middle. Let's still have some life while we build a legacy. That's important. But it's a common thing with people who are like immigrants or who are like come from a struggling background who want to build that kind of financial. It's like seeing that money in the bank gives them that vibe that I'm doing something, I'm making it. Like when I came to Aussie as well, I came to Australia a few years ago, and it was like, I'm just here hustling, doing my PhD. I got my doctorate and all that, making money. I'm not trying to make money to go to the outback of Australia and have fun and all this kind of. I do go on holidays once in a while, but when I go, I try to go to places like Thailand or Vietnam or whatever, where I know that I have more value for my Australian dollar and things like that. And it's quite different for someone who is an Aussie or who is an American. The perspective is different. So I feel like his perspective is kind of different. He feels like, he wants to save all this money, raise all this money, do all this kind of stuff. And her perspective is different. Now, there's no one way that is the perfect way. They're just going to come to the middle line and say, okay, let's enjoy life and still raise a future and build investment and things like that, and and grow. And with the whole kid thing, I think Vincent really needs to learn how to sort of come across with that thing. Like they've had that conversation the first time, they've had it now the second time, and Bree is like, kind of still on this point and all those kind of things. The whole adoption thing, I think he he didn't think about it because he's kind of stuck on the fact that he wants his own child, and he's not hearing anything to him that feels like a strong point for why that can't happen. Like someone was saying in the earlier panel, it's not like she was saying that she has, sickle cell anemia, or she has some very huge medical issue that she's going through. It's just a case of she's saying she has high blood pressure. You might know someone in his family that has high blood pressure. It's common among Black Americans, Africans, Asians, Hispanics. So you might feel like, this is not a big issue. So it's like, there's no point thinking about adoption and whatever yet. We can get to that point where she's convinced, or we can get to that point where she changes her mind and sees reason, or when she feels more comfortable. Because even like having a baby with someone, that's not something any woman wants to do in a rush. She's not like fully convinced about you. You guys are still getting to know each other, even though you're married. So like as she gets into that zone where she's more comfortable with you, where she's more happy and all of that with the relationship, she might change her mind and all this kind of thing. So he feels like, you know what, I'm not going to be thinking about adopting a child and all this kind of thing yet. I'm just going to wait and see how things go and see how the fight goes. But I think they definitely are one of the best couple on the show. With like, they have a lot of prospects. I really believe that they've got a lot in front of them, and just talking through a few things and ironing things out, I'm sure they're really gonna make it. And, yeah, they're really on the right track.
Okay, I appreciate it, David.
Yeah,
Thank
big
you.
ups to you, Didi. I see you.
Yeah, come to cause a scene. Yeah, appreciate it, David. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, David. Thank you very much. Yes, Anu, what you saying, man, bro? Talk to us, man. What's your thoughts, man? Like, what's your thoughts around Bree and Vincent, like being woken up at early times when you're going to bed late? I mean, does she have a point? Maybe she wants to eat breakfast with him. Maybe she wants to stroke his beard in the morning and look at him while she's reading Songs of Solomon. Who knows?